Haven't said this in a while, but back with more Dollhouse. This is episode 1 of season 2. I'm so excited to carry on with the show, get into its second and final season, single tier. And yeah, I know a lot of people have been anxiously waiting for me to get to season 2 because it's been 5 months now since I dropped all of the reactions to season 1, so I released them all in one day, if you do remember. But it's been even longer since I actually watched Dollhouse because I filmed all of those in advance. So yeah, I've kind of been watching some of my old reactions, watching some clips of episodes on YouTube to like refresh my memory on everything that happened. My thoughts on the characters and stuff. So I'm very, very excited to jump back into season 2, see what's going to happen next, where they're going to take this story. Because I really enjoyed the first season. There's some really interesting ideas. Some stunning episodes, some great performances all around by the cast as well. I particularly loved the twists with Alan Tudyk's Tudyk? I can never remember. Tudyk, I think. His character obviously ending up being Alpha, which was a really cool twist. And Dr. Saunders is an active, she's Whiskey. So there's so many cool twists and turns in the first season, so I can't wait to see where they're going to take it. Especially now, we kind of know where things are potentially headed, given episode 13 of season 1 was set in the future. But yeah, it's been a long 5 months waiting to get to season 2. But I did say it was going to be probably in the summer, so here we are. I'm really excited to see what season 2 is going to offer, so let's get right into it. I'm very excited to see how Paul's going to be integrating all of this now.
Do I have plans for the erstwhile agent?
You're touching my face.
Move along.
Yes.
Hunted the Dollhouse for months.
She's touched a bit more than that, Victor.
You thought I'd seen it all. But this engagement, honestly, this one's sick.
Oh, it's quite literally an engagement.
Ivy?
I'm on it. They didn't change you.
I'm not comfortable with Orientals. If you were to tie me down and spank me, I could hardly be expected to resist, could I?
I'll keep that in mind.
Yes.
How many more today?
Wow. Oh, hello!
Oh my god!
I smell a rat.
Is this your idea of a joke?
You designed me, Mr. Frank. I guess it must be your idea of a joke.
I designed you to be a not crazy woman.
I like my scars. They bring out my eyes. Without my scars,
Should be proud of
I
them.
might as well be one of them. And
Scars mean you're stronger than what tried to hurt you.
Remember, I was a more lucrative asset when I was.
There's no way on earth.
Adele DeWitt is not
I
the type
would
of
allow it.
person.
Make out.
My entire existence was constructed by a sociopath in a sweater vest. What do you suggest I do?
Have dinner with me.
Yeah!
For some reason, I'm just built that way.
Every person I know is pretty poorly constructed. Everyone has an excuse for not dealing.
It's my wedding day, and I never want it to end. Until my wedding night.
Oh, my. Oh boy. I hope you've got this on mute, buddy.
The biggest arms dealer on the coast just plighted his troth to me. For 5 years, the Bureau couldn't get his cousin's dog walker to give him the time of day.
Well, you're inside now, so open your eyes.
I have.
Look up to the
This is
skies
my car, okay?
and
I can't
see.
even get him to tell me
I wouldn't touch something that hot.
he married me.
Yeah,
Paul, how long have we been partners?
she has a lot of faith in herself.
3 years?
It is interesting.
I want
that
Echo back as soon as she's checked out.
the actives are like
Okay.
unwillingly active,
Here they
and
come.
like they don't know that they're acting. But then people like Ballard have to act alongside them.
How are you feeling?
She's remembering stuff.
Alpha cut up my face. Do you remember that?
Why?
So you could be number 1.
Am I?
You are.
Oh,
try
fuck.
to be my best.
Good for you. You're done. Go be your best.
Oh. Can I get one?
Then they're mine. Everything we feel,
Wesley?
everything we are is controlled by our brains.
With a different accent, it's wrong.
And spearheaded by the Rossum Corporation to withhold medical advancements.
Oh shit.
Radical
Well, this is
illegal
Chalmers, isn't it?
or undeclared
What do you think, Mr. Langton?
I like his suit.
and the public
I'm sure he was looking for a cause. Someone gave him us recently.
Any idea who?
Mr. Ballard. We were just about to talk about you.
Did you see Senator Perrin's press conference?
Just now. Nice suit. Have you ever talked to Senator Perrin?
I want you to consider becoming Echo's handler.
Ooh. Do you think he can
I
handle
don't
it?
work for you.
No, you work for the betterment of mankind. When you used your leverage to have her released instead of Echo, I thought you must have really cared for her.
Are you threatening her?
Now, I think you were just done with her. But not with
How
Echo.
dare you?
You still need Echo for something.
Oh shit.
Women.
Big nude. Oh my. Whiskey. It's kind of sad that he sleeps here.
Are you drunk? How does this qualify as not playing games?
Because this is the end game. This is where it all leads.
We're endgame, Archie.
Design someone day. That's real.
I feel like she's desperate to feel human
Up in the world.
things.
Because you're better than me.
Oh.
You don't know me, and I don't know you. Not fully, not ever.
Such a lonely life, isn't it?
I made you question.
I mean, he literally had to make himself a
I
friend
made
for his
you
birthday.
fight for your beliefs. I didn't make you hate me. You chose to.
Fuck.
How do I live?
Without you.
I can't stand the smell of you.
I did that. So we never.
Oh.
I'm not better than you. I'm just a series of excuses.
You're human.
Don't flatter yourself.
She clearly took to heart what Boyd was saying about excuses. Oh shit.
You assaulting a family heirloom.
I'm sorry. I didn't leave a scratch.
It's alright, don't worry.
Oh! Fuck.
I can always have it refinished.
You did more damage than she did. Oh shit. Mary!
To love and honour in sickness and in health.
So long as you both shall live.
Do.
As long as you don't fucking beat her up.
One day, wed, and I get this. Proof that my wife is my enemy.
Not the best start to a marriage, I agree.
I am your wife. For the rest of my life. I am and will always be.
Big mood.
This is Topher. What up?
Something's not right.
With Echo?
Her handler said she spiked about 2 hours back. Can you access that?
I am. Why didn't he move in?
He said it was excitement. They were being newlyweds.
Yeah, that's not hot monkey love. I got 0 serotonin, theta activities in the CA1 are peaking. That was pain and panic. How did he miss this?
What do you see now?
Looks like she needs a new handler.
But there's a drop off. You got a better plan?
No, but I do have a much worse one.
Good.
Sir?
Oh! Rude.
I think I'm gonna keep this gun. I'm gonna treasure it.
You're making a
Not
mistake.
very fucking
well,
long,
you're
I
the
think.
expert in that field.
And I don't know him.
Just give it up. Your name is Caroline. All you had to do was remember who you were. You can't remember? Nobody home? We're gonna
I agree,
die,
this is a
and
much
that
worse
scumbag
plan.
is gonna walk because of you.
Damn, you can't aim. Look at that stunt double go! Oh. Bang up job. Huh.
Did I fall asleep
For a little while.
for a little while?
Oh no, she taken off. She probably does need to like discover herself a bit. Wish we'd see more of Victor in this one. But it's with time. Oh, holding hands.
Well, I know you don't remember it, but
I remember everything.
Oh shit.
Sometimes I'm someone else. I'm all of them. But none of them is me.
Oh, that's a good line.
Do you know who's real? I want to find all of them. Real them. They can be found.
Well, I think that's what he wants to be fair.
We are lost. But we are not gone.
You could say that of whiskey as well.
everything's gonna be all right.
Ah, he's being a handler.
Now that you're here.
Do you trust me?
With my life.
With all your lives. I suppose it is easier for them to work together when a team. Damn, son. Really great episode. I really enjoyed it. It did a great job of like reintroducing the characters and the concept of the show and the whole world and everything. But also had its own story and kickstarted like a big plot for the season, I feel. Particularly with Echo and Ballard working together as active and handler to, you know, find Caroline. So yeah, I think they did a really great job with that, and I really enjoyed kind of being reintroduced to all these different characters in, you know, various interesting ways. So yeah, I think it was, as a premiere episode, you know, I think premiere episodes are always really hard to do, but I think they did a great job with this. And I'm very excited to see where they can go with the rest of the season. Where to begin, I wonder. Well, we'll start like the whole like wedding storyline with like the mob boss guy or whatever. The evil guy who she married. So that's probably like the part of the episode I was like, it's alright. It's stuff I was like least interested in. But I think it was more a means of an end to showing that Echo's still kind of having these glimpses of her other like lives and stuff that she's kind of lived before. I think that was like the real point of it. It didn't really matter what the story behind that was apart from that. But it's still kind of interesting to see that Echo is kind of experiencing that, and you know, it kind of showcased how, you know, Ballard has kind of become, well, I want to say become interested in her. He's not been interested in her for most of the first season. But you know, now he has like an active role in the Dollhouse. Active. He can kind of finally start to accomplish what he wanted to do of last season. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they're going to explore the Echo and Ballard relationship. Now Ballard is officially her handler. Her handler Bing, if you will. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to see what they're going to do with that. So yeah, the general plot with like evil husband guy was like, take it or leave it. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but I think it was just a means to an end, and I think they knew that because they had lots of other stuff going on with other characters as well. So yeah, that was cool. They briefly mentioned like the Rossum company again, which was obviously a big thing last season as well. So I like that they're continuing to, you know, bring that into things because it's very much a part of the world. And then we also had like a cameo from Wesley from Buffy and Angel as like the senator guy. I don't know if we're going to see him again. I feel like they set something up with him to be sort of almost like an anniversary for the Dollhouse. So maybe he'll be like a recurring character this season, because I feel like it would be a bit weird to just not see him again after that. So hopefully they're going to go some of that, but it was cool to see him pop up, another kind of Whedonverse actor being used. That was cool. Then other characters we saw very briefly, obviously Victor, it was cool seeing him again and seeing that his scars were healing and stuff. Hopefully he'll get like some more time to shine in later episodes this season. And we saw Sierra very briefly, kind of that role of quite the interesting character, should I say, she was embodying in that scene with her and Ivy and Topher. I think her name's Ivy, like Topher's like assistant almost. I really like her anyway, so I'm glad she popped up again. So it's cool seeing her. So yeah, just those background characters in this episode were all really cool to see. And Adele again didn't get a whole lot to do. But you know, she's just doing what she does best, making snarky comments and staring people down until they die. So it's cool seeing her again, as always. Excited to see if they're going to delve into her past a bit more. Because it was near like the end of season 1, they were really kind of exploring different layers to her. Like obviously her relationship with Victor, around episode 9 I think it was. Episode 10 she had the whole thing with like her old friend solving that murder. I thought that was a really nice little relationship that those two had. And then obviously we saw how she kind of is with Topher in the future. So I'm hoping we can continue to peel the layers with her a bit this season, because I think that made her a lot more interesting to me. So yeah, all of those characters, seeing them again was cool. And Boyd. I think I mentioned a few times, I think Boyd's probably one of my favourite character, or at least one of my favourite characters in the show, because I just really liked his moral compass and what he stood for and how he cared about Echo. And I feel like Ballard's kind of taken on that role a bit as the show's gone on. But I still really like him in his role of like head of security and stuff like that. I think he has some really fun interactions with basically all the different characters. I think he's one of those characters, you could put him in a scene with anyone and I think the scene would be good. So I liked catching up with him, however briefly, and I love what they kind of do with the relationship between him and Whiskey, or Dr. Saunders. I always found that very wholesome, and you know, they did kind of hint at where it could go in like the future episode last season. So yeah, I'm very, very excited about that, and where he could go this season. And then again, I think just big props to the cast mainly, because you know, like with Echo, not only did she have like her, you know, her persona as Echo, and then the engagement, quite literally the engagement in this case, she also had to kind of switch between loads of different personalities very quickly. So Eliza doing a great job as always, and it's nice that I can actually talk about Eliza freely, watching Dollhouse now, and actually make like faith jokes, because I couldn't do that in season 1. So yeah, the cast are great as always as well as a whole. I'm looking forward to seeing where they could lead with this whole journey with Echo and Ballard, and their little mission. I think could be very interesting to follow that this season. And then honestly, I think the most interesting stuff for me in this episode overall was everything with Topher and Whiskey. So I liked Topher at the start of the show. I was like, yeah, he's alright, I guess. Not one of my favourites. But as the show went on, he became more and more interesting to me. And I really like kind of how they've explored him now and what they're doing with him. It's kind of sad knowing where it's going. But that kind of got me a lot more interested in the character as a whole. So I'm kind of glad I did watch... is it Epitaph? Is that how you pronounce it? Epitaph 1. I'm glad I watched that when I did. Because I think it made a lot of the characters actually a lot more appealing and interesting to me. So yeah, I liked seeing like Whiskey not really dealing very well with her discovery that she's inactive, and she thinks she's not a real person and stuff. And I really liked the scene with her and Topher, aside from her like forcing herself on him for a bit. The bit after that, I thought, you know, very well acted and very well written. And again, like the ethics of this show and everything is such a vast area to explore, and I feel that you could write books on the ethics of Dollhouse and, you know, the kind of stuff they talk about. Because a lot of like lines in this episode I thought were really powerful. I'm like, whoa, damn. So I really liked Whiskey's struggle, and I'm looking forward to seeing where that's gone and where they're going to go with that, because she obviously like left at the end. So I'm excited to see what her journey could be. You know, is she going to find herself? Is she, you know, she talked about wanting to die. Is that what she's going to do? You know, it's very interesting to see where they can go with that, because I like how we're seeing an active kind of find out who they really are, and seeing Echo kind of get glimpses of that and want to explore it more, and all Whiskey wants to do is kind of ignore that and try and, you know, get rid of that side of her. So I think that's kind of interesting, kind of parallel with those two and contradiction there. So I'm very excited to see what they can do with Whiskey / Dr. Saunders this season. I think she might be one to watch. Hopefully we'll see her again soon, because I don't think she's main cast, so I don't expect to like pop her up for her to pop up in every episode. But I'm excited to see where they could go with that, and I'm very interested in that story. And then yeah, Topher, they really highlighted, I think, his loneliness in this episode quite a bit. I think he almost purposefully isolates himself, mainly through like social awkwardness, but the fact that he like just sleeps in like almost like a computer room in like the Dollhouse, and we saw last season, you know, he didn't have really any friends to celebrate his birthday with. He had to program with him to Sierra, which is actually really sad, and you know, his whole life is kind of spent making other people. So sometimes it doesn't allow him to be a person himself, especially when those people kind of go wrong and can't accept who they are. Because almost, I think, although I suppose he has succeeded in a way in making the perfect person with Whiskey, because she's not really accepting who she really is, and she doesn't want to accept that, and she's very confused by who she is, and I think that's actually a very human thing. So in that way, he kind of really did a good job. Not, you know, I'm sure Whiskey would disagree, poor Whiskey, but I really like the kind of direction they've taken Topher in. They've kind of moved him, you know, he was a bit of the comic relief near the start of the show, I think, and he had like the quippy lines, and now they've kind of really grounded him a lot and really examined who he really is, and I really like what they're doing with him. He's become a very interesting character to me, so I'm looking forward to seeing everything they do with him. But I really liked the scene with him and Whiskey talking about why didn't she find out who she really was, and maybe they could reinstall that into her. So that whole thing, and you know, like Topher's like purposefully making her not like the smell of him, so that they wouldn't like anything would happen between them. Again, he's like isolating himself in that way, and Whiskey's even isolating herself now by leaving. So there's an interesting kind of connection with those two that I hope they kind of address again. Not in a romantic sense, because I like Whiskey and Boyd, but nonetheless, I really like what they were doing with that. I think it's a very interesting thing to explore. I hope they explore it and expand on it further. I mean, we even got like a little teaser of Victor and Sierra, who I really enjoyed, like as a couple last season. I think it was like episode 8 or something. We kind of saw them be quite coupley. I mean, they were holding hands at the end, so that's interesting. Planting loads of seeds for the season ahead, which, you know, was great. But at the same time, they had its own plot going on, and it was like readdressing some things from last season. So I really, really enjoyed this premiere a hell of a lot. It was a great episode, and I can't wait to see where they're going to take this season. So yeah, fantastic start, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. But until my next reaction, whenever it may, pop up on your feed. Thanks for watching.